For those who want it, at the end of this review will be a hint to the mystery of the glass onion. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Today, we are going to be talking about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Usually, I don't like reviewing sequels when I've never reviewed its predecessor, but the only connective tissue that Knives Out and Glass Onion have is Daniel Craig. So, in Glass Onion, we catch back up with Daniel Craig's Detective Benoit as he is between cases during lockdown in 2020. We'll get back to that, where it seems that he and a random friend group all get invitations to join a multi-billionaire on his private island so that they can solve his murder. Right off the bat, I had so much fun with Glass Onion. Just like in Knives Out, the writing in Glass Onion is very fast. A lot of it is kind of dry. There's some commentary about the world at large sprinkled in there a little bit. And nearly everybody here is fully committed to both giving really good performances, but also bringing as much camp as this movie needs. Daniel Craig, we loved him as Benoit in Knives Out. You will continue to love him as Benoit in Glass Onion. He so perfectly is able to play a role that is both a Sherlock Holmes level super genius and also a straight out of the holler hillbilly. I could just watch Benoit talk about stuff for 3 hours, and I would love it. I would love every single second of it. And then you have Edward Norton, who is playing the eccentric multi-billionaire who's friends with all of these people. I love Edward Norton in practically everything that he does, and Glass Onion is no exception. I loved every second that he was on screen. And also, Janelle Monáe was... there is a lot that Monáe was able to do with this character. She was able to play it in so many different ways and killed every single one of them. One performance that I just off the bat assumed I was going to dislike was Dave Bautista as Duke. We'll get into the joke of his character in a minute, but ultimately he wants to be a right-wing social media influencer, and that's kind of why I assumed I would hate him right off the jump. I like watching him. I have a good time with Dave Bautista. He just looks like he's there on movies to have a good time, and so I have a good time as well. Last performance I'm going to talk about here is going to be Kathryn Hahn. She is a politician that is friends with this multi-billionaire. Imagine that. You find out as the film goes on that she's involved in some kind of shady stuff, and the main thing I love so much about her performance is while everyone in the Knives Out universe seems to be an exaggerated version of a normal person, something about Kathryn Hahn's performance in this just screams like mustache twirling Saturday morning cartoon villain. And I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's what I got. And I loved it for that. Obviously, I have to talk about the writing. The characters are just so quick. The dialogue is so snappy and hilarious. And I wouldn't call this a straight up comedy, but it is very funny. And before I say this next part, I want to preface it with, I'm not a very smart man. So when it comes to mysteries, I'm not really here to try to piece everything together through the whole movie. I'm here to watch the characters do that. The writing, as far as the plot and specific points in the story go, is very smart. Now, on to the negatives. Some of the performances, I'm not going to say were bad, but they weren't good. For example, Leslie Odom Jr. is a scientist who is friends with this multi-billionaire. Imagine that. And scientist that is doing some potentially shady stuff, who is tied in with this mega billionaire and also corrupt politician, he's just not matching their level. Especially when that corrupt politician, like I said, is up here the whole time. Leslie Odom Jr. is still kind of down here. He's still giving a really good performance. but it's just not matching everybody else's vibe. And then you have Kate Hudson, who she's like an ex-model who is friends with this multi-billionaire. Imagine that. They bring up Clue multiple times throughout the movie. And just like in the movie Clue, there's a character that they keep cutting to and she like dramatically screams. And I think that's what they were trying to do with Kate Hudson here. But Kate Hudson, similar to Leslie Odom Jr., is just not matching the rest of them. But while he is giving more of a straightforward performance and that's why it doesn't fit in, she seems bored. And it could be intentional, because when we're introduced to her, she's drunk at a party, but keeps talking about how bored she is. And through the whole movie, it's as if she's drunk and bored. And so it could have been intentional, but I didn't like it. Another negative would be, while I did say that the movie is very funny, a lot of the humor that I got from it was from the very quick and snappy dialogue. Whenever there is a specific thing that they're trying to joke about, it rarely works. Circling back to what I said about it being set during lockdown in 2020, I'm not entirely sure why. Because as soon as they get to Edward Norton's boat to take them to the island, they just get something shot into their throat and they don't need to wear their masks anymore, and it's never brought up again. So it's really only for the first 10-15 minutes maybe that it's even relevant at all. So it really seems like they just kind of put it in there so that they could make cheap jokes about how, oh, look, the Alex Jones conspiracy social media influencer isn't wearing a mask at all. Or this model is wearing a chainmail mask that looks fashionable but doesn't help at all. Or this politician technically has her mask on, but it's still under her nose, so it's really just a faintly veiled attempt to make it look like she actually cares. And then specifically, like with Dave Bautista's Alex Jones stand-in, Duke Cody, as soon as the character is introduced, there's a joke about how he's living in his mom's basement. And while it's not a bad joke, but it is a joke that everybody else has already made before, it's just wild to me that the dialogue itself is so smart and funny, but these things that they're trying to specifically make jokes about don't work. So in summary, I loved most of the performances. I thought the writing was very fast, smart, and funny. I was enjoying myself thoroughly through the entire mystery of the thing. But there were a couple of performances that weren't really matching the level of everybody else. And whenever they would try to make specific commentary about something, it just felt old and tired. I'm going to say that Glass Onion gets an A. So this is where I will give you a small hint to the mystery of the Glass Onion if you would like it. And that hint is, don't think about it too hard. That's it. That's all you need, and that's all I'm going to give you. So, for those who have seen Glass Onion already, what did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. Or, what is your favorite murder mystery? Let me know that as well. Go ahead and check out my social media and all the other content I've put out, like behind the scenes vlogs and a new song. The links to all of that will be down in the description. But before you do anything, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe so that I can see you guys next time.